He's a veteran executive with more than 2 decades of in-depth experience across healthcare and corporate industries. In his current role, he has made significant strides at the Man Health Assurance Hospitals Company and Hala Medical Group in Kuwait.
As it was founded based on the AHRI decree as part of the National Development Plan, New Kuwait 2035. This facility will have over 7,000 highly qualified individuals in medical and administrative field. I have led the commissioning and made operation more than 4 PHSs in the last 2 years, which will be having over 300 plus physicians in full strength in 2 shifts. We also had completed 75% of the targeted critical headcount expansion, massive for PHSs, each one of with approximately 5,000 plus square meter in a full capacity, and they will have like approximately 300 doctors. Did a very remarkable job by continuous follow-up with the Ministry of Licensing and had achieved things in preset schedule.
Given your extensive experience in healthcare management, how do you approach the commissioning and operationalizing of new healthcare facilities, especially the PHCs?
Commissioning, there are commonly 3 different types of commissioning. New construction commissioning is there, recommissioning ongoing is there, and retro commissioning is there. In our case,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry giant on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Dr. Anish Varghese. He is a veteran executive with more than 2 decades of in-depth experience across healthcare and corporate industries. He prioritizes cross-functional communication and collaboration, leveraging his unique skills and strengths across different cultures and time zones to maximize business potential. In his current role, he has made significant strides at the Man Health Assurance Hospitals Company and Hala Medical Group in Kuwait, showcasing his leadership in healthcare operations and management. At the Man, he holds the position of corporate director, where he leads the planning of health zones and PHC operations. His key contributions include commissioning and operationalizing the various primary healthcare centers, that is PHCs, expected to house many physicians and dentists, and playing an active role in the construction management of newly built PHCs. He has also led the commissioning of dental units across multiple PHCs and has been instrumental in the development of new health centers in the Jahra and Ahmadi health regions. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Dr. Vaurghese.
Thank you, Mr. Sunny, for the great introduction. Thank you.
All right. So, Dr. Vaurghese, to begin with, could you elaborate on your roles and key responsibilities as the corporate director at the Man Hospitals?
Great. It's a good question to start with. I'll just give a brief about our company. The Man Health Assurance Hospitals Company is established in 2014 as the first public-private partnership healthcare organization in the entire Middle East, as it was founded based on the AHRI decree as part of the National Development Plan, New Kuwait 2035. The Man handles establishing an integrated healthcare system that includes medical insurance program, as well as building and operating network of primary healthcare centers and hospitals that cover all areas of Kuwait, while applying best professional practice to achieve sustainability in the healthcare and investing in the infrastructure of the health sector based on highest international standard and in full capacity. This facility will have over 7,000 highly qualified individuals in medical and administrative field combined. So mainly my role is like I'm engaged as a corporate director, operations and health zone planning at the MAN. As a member of the leadership team, my main role include managing and developing the PHCs and actively involved in the health zone planning for the hospitals in the north and south zones, which is Jahra and Ahmadi region. I had led the commissioning and made operation more than 4 PHCs in the last 2 years, which will be having over 300 plus physicians in full strength in 2 shifts. I was also actively involved in the construction management of PHCs, which includes contract management, negotiations, and medical center designing. Moreover, our team had successfully revitalized the operational plan for the existing PHCs, thereby increasing the patient flow by 38%. We also had completed 75% of the targeted critical headcount expansion, 30% ahead of the scheduled by implementing a company-wide initiative outlining an acceleration strategy to fast-track onboarding and orientation by upskilling department heads to deliver the required training. I was also successful in commissioning and licensing the clinics 20% faster than the scheduled time, leading to early revenue generation, thereby reducing an operational break-even time. Another key thing, what I am really involved is like I'm the champion in commissioning the dental units across our Daman facility. I achieved the operational excellence by implementing the HMO model design, which is the health maintenance organization design, which is customized for the man with support of Ribera Salud, our operating partner based in Spain. So this is all about me and my organization.
Dr. Vaurghese, thank you for the excellent start to this interview. And I must say your career journey is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
All right. So continuing our conversation, Dr. Vaurghese, our viewers would like to know, what are some significant challenges you have faced at the Man Health Assurance Hospital Scope, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, like in certain circumstances, I faced a situation where the workload significantly increased due to unexpected circumstances. To maintain efficiency, I assessed the situation, identified tasks that could be delegated, and communicated with my colleagues to seek the support. However, the major challenge I faced was with the project timeline management with the construction contractors, where we were busy for the last 2 years in building up massive 4 PHCs, each one of with approximately 5,000 plus square meter in a full capacity, and they will have like approximately 300 doctors in addition to the admin and allied medical staff. One of the methods I initially started was a weekly dialogue with the PMO, the project management organization, which evaluated the work in progress and compared them with the timeline. This was followed by frequent site visit I led in coordination with the project team, where we had periodic assessing on the completion percentage and reviewing the snacks based on the site visit. This will be again followed by discussions with the project finance and costing team to evaluate and strategizing things to keep minimum variation order on each snack. It was a challenging exercise. However, I enjoyed each part of the task, and finally the mission was successfully completed in launching the projects in time. I remember another challenge. And like just like on those days we were struggling to get the clinical license, which is another tiresome job in this part of the country. Part of it was internal, and another part of the reason was external. What I did with the internal matter is to enrich collaboration by forming task force with the key units such as the biomedical, clinical, and licensing team, where targeted dates for internal commissioning is set and periodic reviews are established. Same as the previous, the PMO used to track the progress, and detailed forecasts were provided, which had helped us in overcoming the hurdles by advanced preparation. Likewise, I also formed a special task force with the members from operations and licensing who did a very remarkable job by continuous follow-up with the Ministry of Licensing and had achieved things in preset schedule. What I understood from these challenges is that we, the leadership, have to deep dive into the issues and should have a fruitful roundtable with the stakeholders, and tactical mission plan have to set and have to push the throttle, and the things will be done. It's all about teamwork and attitude. Basically, this is my thought process on those things.
That really sounds incredible. All right. So moving ahead, Dr. Vaurghese, given your extensive experience in healthcare management, how do you approach the commissioning and operationalizing of new healthcare facilities, especially the PHCs?
Commissioning of PHC actually is a tiresome job. I mean, like, we actually require a very great team with us. I mean, like, it is not a one-man show. I mean, like, it's a collaborative team effort. First of all, I'd like to elaborate something about the commissioning. I mean, like, commissioning is the process of assessing needs, planning and prioritizing, purchasing and monitoring health services to get the best health outcome. In practice, commissioning process is integrated application of a set of engineering techniques and procedures to check, inspect, and test every operational component of the project, from individual functions such as instruments and equipment to complex amalgamation such as modules, subsystem, and systems. PHC commissioning starts during the construction of the facility and extended through the new PHC opening day, also referred as day one. It involves loading the building with the new equipment, IT, furniture, making sure the building and its equipment are safe for use. It ensures PHC digital infrastructure is up and running, operational readiness activities are complete, and staff are confident to work in the new environment. I mean, like, PHC activation can be split into many phases. I mean, like, I will say, like, we have divided those phases into three. I mean, like, the initial phase, internal setting phase, and rollout phase. I mean, like, initial phase involved checking and preparing the building and infrastructure. In the internal setting phase, I mean, like, it involves hospital staff to work in the new facility and testing workflows, equipment, and processes. In the third phase, it involves transitioning patients to the new site. The ramp up of clinical services are finally the open day. Splitting PHC activation into three phases provide a clear framework on the sequencing of activities needed to ensure clarity of dependencies across programs and smooth operationalization of facilities. Importantly, PHC activation brings together the various functions of the new PHC built-up program, including operational, clinical, IT, and construction, into one integrated group. I mean, like, there are many considerations for a successful PHC planning. In my experience, I mean, like, to be effective PHC commissioning, planning should begin at least 12 to 18 months before the PHC planned opening day. I mean, this is my experience. Early and proactive planning will help to avoid common pitfalls, such as inadequate time for loading the building and testing connectivity across equipment and IT. Some of the key elements that we need to consider for a successful PHC activation, I will say, I mean, like, there's a detailing scheduling should be there. A suite of resources designed to deliver high quality transition should be there. There should be plans for operation readiness, and there should be plan to support the change management and training of the staff. These are the considerations that we have to give. Moreover, I mean, like, there, I will say, like, in all our PHC commissioning, we made the phases into 8 different stages. It starts with the preparation, then it go for designing, then it go for pre-construction, then it go for a construction phase, then definitely the commissioning of services, then the pre-handover, initial occupation, and then the post-occupancy care. Within the construction industry, if you look, there are commonly 3 different types of commissioning. I mean, new construction commissioning is there, recommissioning ongoing is there, and retro commissioning is there. In our case, it is the new construction commissioning. In all our 4 PHCs, which we have undergone, is a new commissioning, which we call like NCCS. As I mentioned earlier, we had a very strong PMO, which really act as a main coordinator of the function. And this is how we have achieved the success in the last 2 years.
Amazing, amazing. That sounds amazing, Dr. Vaurghese. All right, so moving forward, let's dive into the subject of ESG and corporate governance. So here is my question to you, and a very obvious one. How and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
I'm interested in the ESG as its investment framework is associated with a handful of important benefits, such as better appreciate the impact of companies on the environment, to adopt more sustainable business practices, and to ensure a stable financial future. If you look, ESG investing focus on companies that follow positive environmental, social, and governance principles. Today, we see the fact that investors are increasingly eager to align their portfolio with ESG-related companies and fund providers, making it an area of growth with a positive effects on society and the environment. I'm very much fascinated with these three components of this concept, the ESG. What we say is the environmental, social, and governance. If you look into environmental policies and regulations, it doesn't stop with the mere P&P, rather it grow to attaining an environmental sustainability as it aims to protect nature, support a strained ecosystem, and create a more positive world. This will help a human to literally change the face of the world. And if you go into social, it's a practices, human rights, health and safety, things like that. And when we come back to the third point, governance, is the accountability and risk management. I have noticed that various studies show that the companies with strong ESG practices outperform their peers financially, attract and retain the talent, and they also enjoy reduced operational cost and risk. In addition, employees benefit from ESG by getting healthier work environment, reduced exposure to harmful substances, and the satisfaction of working for a company that prioritizes environmental stewardship. And thirdly, a social aspect of ESG directly impacts employees by fostering a supportive and inclusive work culture. In my opinion, today's corporate have to educate the employees and to develop an interest in sustainability, as this will pave the way to be part of growing solutions to make world a better place by making companies more sustainable, and will contribute to the preservation of the precious resources for the benefit of all life on the planet. I also believe that the more people pursue a career in sustainability, the better we can tackle our ecological crisis. Ultimately, it is all about responsible investing in ethical business practices, and it fluctuates over time depending on what different market generations care about. So this is my thought about the ESG.
Rightly said, Dr. Vaurghese. Before we conclude our discussion on this particular subject, I would like to quickly ask you, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Oh, okay. I embrace ESG, and by adopting ESG principle means each corporate strategy I develop will focus on environment, social, and governance. This means taking measure to lower pollution and carbon dioxide output and reduce waste. It also means having a diverse and inclusive workforce at the entry level and at the senior level. The importance of governance in ESG certificate explores the critical role governance play in implementing ESG strategy. It focuses on how boards and executives can integrate ESG principles into governance framework, enhancing accountability and promoting sustainable practices. As an ESG specialist, I play a pivotal role in advancing sustainable and responsible business practices within organizations. I give priority in focusing on evaluating and enhancing the company's performance in areas related to environmental impact, social responsibility, and governance practices. I will share a small statistics which I have noticed from the Barron's magazine. It says professionally managed assets with ESG mandate totaled 46 trillion in 2021, representing 40% of assets under management AUM globally. They say that this number is projected to rise to 80 trillion by 24. Here we can see the capital funding is further allocated to ESG investments. Companies across the industries are competing with how best to incorporate ESG with the pressure mounting from stakeholders. This requires strategic planning and management across the three pillars of the environmental, social, and governance. And this is the importance of the power of these three words, the ESG. Another value that I will definitely add, that I will change the traditional old structure in the board, where there is a method commonly followed in picking retired experts and even certain celebrity names on the board, like to oversee a company's financial reporting and audit function. Our board should increasingly add experts from the industry domain and also should invite technology experts to boardroom rosters in recent years as technology play a more integral part in innovation, competition, and risk factors like cybersecurity. Likewise, I will implement a more diverse equity inclusion activities in the firm. In addition, as an ESG expert to govern board ESG commitment is becoming a critical necessity of future board composition, as ESG becomes a greater component of overall corporate strategy and regulatory compliance. As an ESG expert, I would be a key leader in satisfying the board's oversight of an ESG compliant growth strategy and would support the board mitigating risk of industry risk ESG factors such as carbon emission, worker safety, and fair compensation practices. These complementary additions to the traditional board structure would not only improve companies' ability to appropriately govern ESG matter, but also will give and bring progress in the firm, such as compliance, efficiency, and innovation to growth. Another value that I bring to the table is that I will embed ESG in healthcare strategy and purpose. Many healthcare organizations have the opportunity to move beyond press release to build meaningful ESG efforts through their business, from their supply chain to environmental footprints, from recruitment efforts to executive leadership composition. And I will give priority ESG strategy as these steps will align with organizations' overall mission to improve community health. Broader public awareness about sustainability and corporate responsibility means organizations can differentiate themselves by acting early to build ESG strategy that can enhance reputation with the customers, employees, as well as with the investors and analysts. I will stress more on implementing better way to measure for transparency and accountability in the healthcare. This include a new process to capture data or work with third party. In addition, healthcare leaders can use proven tactics and smarter technology to identify, measure, and hold their business accountable to ESG principle. My approach will also be to inspire healthcare organizations to implement a proactive approach in telling their stories to employees, customers, and their stakeholders, because I believe that each firm has a story, and that story, will guide the stakeholders. In addition, I will look into matters such as reducing energy and water consumption in healthcare facility. Then my stress will be to addressing transportation and supply chain and carbon footprints. And I will also give importance to reducing medical waste, ensure delivery of safe and quality care, providing equitable access to care, and recruiting executive leaders from diverse communities. This will be my core focus on the topic of ESG. Yes.
All right, Dr. Vaurghese. As an ESG and corporate governance expert, the values that you have shared are truly commendable. All right, so moving ahead, what are your views on a BEP in hospitals, issues such as increased capex and the need for a sound hospital management strategy in today's vibrant and competitive world?
This is a very vital point. I mean, in most of the healthcare organization, a key factor that affect their profitability is the capex. Why I'm saying this, because most of the hospital find the capex as a major issue, and this factor delay the quick attainment of the break-even, where the pricing strategy get affected by high capex in many instances. Many leaders explore continuously on strategies to reduce capex, and the usual reduction is attained by collaboration with the medical equipment companies and to a certain extent by structured leasing activity. In my recommendation, this is an ideal methodology for any high-value capex asset, which is comparatively less usage. It is a fact that most of CapEx items can be controlled by strong budget practices. It is recommended to keep separation in CapEx budget and annual budget and should have a high level of transparency. These separation give an advantage to manage tax prevalent in different economy as CapEx spent in acquisition of an asset will reduce deductible from the tax liability through the asset depreciation over a long period, which is usually 7 years and sometimes ranges from 10 to 12 years. I always give a high priority of increased collaboration with the partnership between medical equipment companies and hospitals where they progress forward by implementing various collaborating strategies, which reduce CapEx for hospitals at the same time, which bring revenue generation to medical equipment companies rather than only attaining a sales profit, which is more of a traditional fashion. Equipment and asset generation through debt financing increases the liability of low-moving items, and this is seen as a major setback for units with a tight cash flow. The hospital decision to pump cash in acquiring any capital asset should be after analysis and planning along the post-acquisition operation plan, which means any decision taken without a proper stakeholders review will lead to financial turbulence. This is multiple time I have seen this, and I have seen organizations struggling because of this factor. Most of hospitals have their strategy based on their operating model. In a volatile environment, it is difficult for hospitals to survive where revenues keep diminishing and expenditure rises. In tackling these situations, leaders give priority for increasing their profit margin and reducing their cost and maintaining a clear vision on their USP. Strategies for a win-win situation is highly required than individual growth. And few strategies supporting this includes like collaboration and strategic tie-up. This is one of the method where hospital can join and become more strategic with their approach. Different centers have their own core area in expertise, and collaboration will strengthen to promote such expert care areas, as it also provides a very quick pace for specialization. More than a survival strategy, finding a strategic partner will provide mutual benefit with the spearhead growth. Number two, I may say, we have to definitely look for time saver models. If you look into the 10-year back and now, this time saver models increase in tertiary care as well as in PHC level. In a fast-paced environment, there should be models developed by hospital in providing services with a low waiting period, whether it is a PHC, secondary care, or even in a tertiary care. Embracing technology and utilization of AI and telemedicine is seen increasingly utilized in many time saver models. This is what I have seen in the Southeast Asian countries, and if you look into these models in the European nations, we can see this change there. And thirdly, home health is another strategy that is increasingly used by many hospitals in Asian countries, which have added features and completely new set of protocols as they promote doctors visiting homes at a very nominal cost, which is a preference for aging baby boomers and people who require post-acute care. So these are my thoughts on the CapEx model.
Amazing, Dr. Vaurghese, and thank you for sharing such amazing insights into different subjects. All right, since we were discussing ESG and corporate governance, I would like to ask you, how do corporate governance affects corporate's destiny?
Corporate governance is a set of guidelines created at the corporate level of an organization. And these guidelines are cascaded to the ground level for operating efficiency and compliance implementation. It's a blueprint that guides the team on how a company is run with the direction of the board of directors. After reviewing many cases and referring to enormous expert articles, my understanding on why firms lack sound corporate governance, there are multiple reasons. Maybe I will say like 4 of them, which is in the top 4. There is a weak selection of board happening in many companies. In many companies, the selection of board is happening through a very weak process where strong, competent members are not getting a chair in the boardroom. And number two, I will say like a diversified knowledge on industry should be there. It is also noticed that a weak board comprised of a board member who lack diversified knowledge in the business domain. There are also ineffective governance framework. Many firms lack a strong governance framework as a result of the, like a lack of strategic vision. And I may say the fourth vital point is a lack of independent directors in the boardroom. In order to bring synergy and right composition in boardroom, many companies nowadays are bringing independent directors on board, who are the real game changers. I mean, like in short, my recommendation for attaining a good corporate governance include board diversity. This is achieved by having a balanced composition in the board with a diverse knowledge on the domain which promote creative thinking and development of the new strategies. Number two, I mean, like to attain a good corporate governance, we should have an adequate board training and responsibility setting. Same as the executive team, it is vital to have a frequent and rigorous training for board members on strategy, development aspects, and environment assessment. Without this, the sharpness will not be attained, and it will lead with the entity in the era of competition. Thirdly, I will say like a continuous monitoring system should be there. Deviations from the plans, if any, should be evaluated, and corrective measures have to be implemented without a delay. So I will say like a continuous monitoring system should be there, and the absence of it create mostly the issues basically. Fourth, for attaining a good governance, there should be independence. Independence have to be attained and ensured for the internal and external audit practice, where there is no scope for undue influence on the audit committee and on the independent auditors. I would say like ethical practice and compliance towards regulatory firm have to be of prime importance in any good governance system. An evaluation of the executive team and board is mandatory to happen on periodic basis, which will strengthen the system and help to track progress. So in short, like a sound risk management process along with a good control framework should be part of the governance. As an organic growth, I will say like an organic growth is much better than speculative move and use of chemical fertilizers.
All right, Dr. Vaurghese. So moving ahead, let's discuss the trends into the global healthcare industry. So my question is, what are the major trends in the global healthcare industry you notice?
As the population grows continuously, there comes a significant need for more healthcare centers and beds globally to cater the healthcare needs of the growing population. Consistent efforts are taken by corporate and charitable trust hospitals to keep their patient care and values at a high pace. However, there are more rising demand, which will be difficult in maintaining the standard at a minimum required level. Another common factor noticed is the global shortage in the healthcare markets across the world. This is a prime concern in many economies around the world due to the growing demand for health providers that surpasses the stream. According to the WHO estimate, there is a global shortage of approximately over 4 million physicians. The number is 4 million, million of physicians, nurses, and healthcare professionals combined. This will definitely affect primarily underdeveloped and developing economies where there are less medical schools and a higher population, which will result in comparatively low quality of care and increased waiting time. On the other hand, the trend in developed economies is different, where focus will be to utilize more technology-oriented care, high importance to patient experience, implementation and testing of new models of clinical delivery, focus of innovation, and clinical diagnosis. If I say like the key trends in global healthcare includes, there is an increase in the lifestyle and chronic disease, increased application of AI into healthcare. There is a patient-focused approach. There is new models of healthcare and increased capex and collaboration with the medical giants. Yeah, I'll give a small definition or like elaboration on those points. Increased in lifestyle and chronic diseases is a leading issue that globally economies will struggle to tackle and is caused due to unhealthy lifestyle practices, which result in major chronic diseases such as cardiac disease, type 2 diabetes. The budget spending, this is very vital. The budget spending annually in tackling these factors keep increasing. However, thrust will be given to more lifestyle education preventive practices. And also, if you look, AI is getting more involved in diagnostics, especially in the radiology, and this will continue to increase in coming years in multiple diagnosis and treatment recommendation, patient engagement, adherence, and administrative activities. Thirdly, what I mentioned is the patient-focused approach. Due to competition in quality delivery and based on better benchmarking availability, a patient-focused approach will be developed and will be implemented by majority of the corporate healthcare centers to maintain their customer base. I will also say increased capex and collaboration with biomedical giants. That's the another trend. A joint collaboration between medical college, hospitals, and corporate health centers in developing economies will increase to tackle the capex hike in high-value machinery and diagnostic units. Thereby, the collaboration reduce the cost burden through the profit share model, which is already in practice in most Southeast Asian hospitals. So these are the key trends that I have noticed in the healthcare recently.
Absolutely, Dr. Vaurghese. And thank you for sharing your valuable insights with us today. So this brings us to the last question of the session, and here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the team of World Development Corporation?
I first of all want to thank and appreciate the efforts of Mr. Zishan Pathan and Heval Mehta in taking the World Development Corporation to new heights. Every day we are noticing, and I personally am following the company, and I can see like more talents and more experienced board members are coming to World Development Corporation in attaining the knowledge. And actually, that is a platform for knowledge transfer. Even recently, the World Development Corporation is honored at the British Parliament. So that's one of the, we can see how important is the corporation in the knowledge transfer, and this platform will definitely help knowledge sharing and bridge the gap. I wish all the very best to the WDC team and specifically to you, and I wish all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Dr. Anish Varghese, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.